Hello guys, thanks for support recently on my channel. I didn't expect the Garnet army to roll through like that. Whether you're fans of the show or fans of the game, that's cool. I'm really glad that people decided to watch it. If you haven't watched the show, maybe that convinced you to go watch it, and if you haven't played the game, maybe you'll give the game a go. They're both pretty good in my opinion. Anyway, today I just want to try and give back to the Garnet mains out there, or people who want to pick up Garnet, and just make a little guide from my experience playing her. I'm by no means the best Garnet player or anything, but I feel like there isn't a bunch of Garnet content out there anyway, so I'm just gonna do my bit, try my hand at it. This is mostly going to be focused on 2v2, as I haven't really played any 1v1s, only a little bit. If I decide to grind some 1v1s, I'll probably make a specific video for that. I'll put timestamps around so you can skip around, leave the video, come back, whatever you want. Alright, Garnet has a lot of potential to be a good support player, whilst also doing great damage herself. And she has a lot of tools, like shielding from projectiles, the ability to buff your team's damage, speed, and give them armor break. She has a grab, and she has 2 great projectiles. If you can keep up with your enemies, I feel like Garnet doesn't really have a huge disadvantage in most matchups. I'd say her main weakness is that she doesn't have a solid combo game in the air. It's hard to get more than 2 hits in the air with Garnet really. Garnet's simplified game plan for me is initiating and poking with her up special, down air, and neutral air, crystal combo, mix-ups for damage, and then when you finally want to kill them, use down air, up special, or side special to kill. Again, this is just very simplified, and I'll now go into a bit more depth about all her moves and their potential use cases. Neutral attack is a good kill move at full charge, you just have to make sure you're spacing it right. This move can also be cancelled with a jump or a dodge, which can give Garnet even more mix-ups to her side attack. I'll touch more on that later. Garnet's neutral air is a great move that's usable in pretty much any situation. You can use it to edge guard, you can use it to spike, it's a good get off me move. You just need to be aware of the hitbox. It's not a circle around her, but it's rather her limbs that do the damage, so you gotta be careful of that. Garnet's side attack, or crystal combo, hit stuns the enemy, which allows for many follow-ups. She can do up attack, down attack, another side attack, both versions of her side special, and up special when it's on cooldown, and finally neutral attack. Now for me, one of Garnet's weaknesses is how predictable she can be, and it can be hard to get damage on opponents that like to spam dodge, and that's where cancelling your neutral can help even the playing field. Garnet can cancel her neutral extension from crystal combo, which you can use to expand your game plan even further with her. This is explained well in a video by Haitian Joe. Sorry for the pronunciation, but I'll link it in the description because they can explain it way better than I can. I only picked this up recently, but it's a very good mechanic you can add to your game plan to catch dodges, and it's probably even more valuable in 1v1 when you have more space to do what you want. Garnet's side air is good when it hits. It was meant to be buffed last patch, so the 2 hits combo into each other better, but I feel it can still miss sometimes. For this move you want to learn how to short hop, which is cancelling your jump with an attack quickly, so you can use air attacks close to the ground. If you can do this, it becomes a good approach tool, and it's a fast way to get opponents off stage. Up attack, nothing too special on its own. It can be charged for a 3-hit combo that sends Garnet flying into the air. This has huge vertical kill power, and it looks like a high risk high reward option, as you are vulnerable for quite a while as it charges. But you don't have to commit to it. It can be dodge cancelled, so don't be afraid to go for aerial snipes with it. The up air looks pretty similar, nothing crazy, you just use it to hit people above you. Down attack is another good move. It's similar to Wonder Woman's lasso, but the enemies have to be on the ground for it to work. Pulls them towards you, and you'll kind of have to read where they get thrown about to continue to hit them. You have to be ready for them to go next to you, above you, or on high percentages they can go straight over you. Okay, the down air. I used to think this move was so trash when I started playing, but after some practice with it, it's probably my favourite move in the game. I probably use it too much at this point. Spiking with it, too satisfying. When using this move on grounded enemies though, try not to hit the floor with it. Release it just before so you don't have to deal with the long recovery animation of her landing. Not touching the ground also lets you combo into your up special after a hit. Neutral special does the same in the air and grounded. Garnet creates a projectile shield, whilst also charging the rhythm stack. 1 out of 2 stacks gives you a speed boost, and 2 out of 2 stacks gives you armor break. This is huge against characters like Superman, Steven, Wonder Woman, and even if you're playing against other Garnets, however rare that may be. Side Special is a really good projectile that you can aim. When you're on the ground, you can hold it down and extend the range. You can use it to safely edgeguard and go for horizontal air kills. It can also be used to protect yourself coming back to stage, stop people edgeguarding you and whatnot. When it's on cooldown, it does a shoulder barge, which is good for chaining your side attack combos. Garnet has a second projectile in her up special, where she can aim a little electric ball at enemies. Garnet can have trouble initiating on players that move a lot, and I feel like this move really helps her with that. The little hit stun that it does can be just enough to get the first move on enemies without them dodging. A little extra bit on the shock status. As you know, it does damage over time, but if you or your team is standing on it when it explodes, you get an even better buff, which increases the base attack damage. It's not uncommon to get 400 plus damage games of Garnet, and this move really helps with that. And when it's on cooldown, get a powerful clap, which again you can chain with your crystal combo, and it's a good ender for your strings. The air up special is probably the main kill move that you'll be using in the air. It's pretty simple to use and it launches them upwards. It's probably the most reliable in the air compared to the up air attack, but in some cases you have to be careful because it kinda launches opponents diagonally, so you can miss out on some kills in fringe cases. I had a game against Iron Giant on Scooby's Mansion where the up special moved him diagonally up to the wall and he was able to bounce and recover, and I probably would have killed him if I did up air instead of up special. Garnet has an interesting grab for her down special. She places a star, which you can do in the air or grounded, and then when you press it again, she dashes the star, grabbing enemies along the way and throwing them in the opposite direction. And it's the opposite direction, to be clear. So you can throw people up and downwards if you're creative with it. The move is good for relieving pressure off your teammates, covering back to stage, or fishing for some reversals. You do have to bear in mind though that you're not invincible during this move, and you can get hit by an attack before you reach the star. So you have to time it well. For combos, I'm just going to show some examples of moves that flow well together here. When it comes to combos in this game, I don't think you should be trying to memorize or be aiming for crazy 50 hit guaranteed combos and infinites. The developers made it clear that that's not intended, and infinites are supposed to be getting patched out soon. A lot of it for me is just improvising, just reacting to where you and your opponent are and doing the appropriate moves that flow into one another. You can probably find longer strings in other videos, but I don't think that's very helpful, especially in 2v2. In 1v1, maybe you want to work on maximizing the damage, but I think the best thing is to get a feel for the character, and you'll do your own freeform combos depending on the situation in game. When it comes to Garnet's signature perk, you pretty much have to ask yourself, do I want star placement for gem dash to be easier in game, or do I want to get stacks of rhythm easier in the game? For me personally, it depends on the matchup. Again, with enemies that use a lot of armor, Superman, Steven, etc. I like to use Electric Groove so I can get armor break stats easier in the game, but if I'm not playing against anyone like that, I'll probably use Marker more often. It makes it much easier. Sometimes when games are very fast and hectic, you don't really have time to be doing down special, you want to keep moving and whatnot, so Marker makes that easier for you, but it all depends. Really personal preference, I feel. For general perks, I like to use ones where I can actually feel the difference and have faith that they can actually change interactions for me. I'll never know if that 5% damage in the air won me a game. I feel like there are better perks to choose from. I usually mix and match between a few I like. Some of them are matchup dependent or map dependent, but I'll go through the ones that I usually use right now. Armor Crush. Your fully charged attacks will break armor. Garnet has plenty of charge attacks, so this is great for, again, if you're against enemies that use armor, Superman, Wonder Woman, you know. School Me Once, if you're playing a couple of mages, say Tom and Jerry, Velma, Morty, characters like that, you get a block buff for 2 seconds. It helps you not get spammed by projectiles. Toon Elasticity, I like to use this one on Scooby's Mansion. When you're at high percentage and later on in the game, there's a lot of bouncing that goes around on that map, especially if there's a Steven on it. So this one does 20% reduction to your ground and wall bounce velocity, gives you a bit more control when bouncing around on that map. Tasmanian Trigonometry. This one can save your life, makes it easier for you to recover back to stage, and triple jump. Again, something that can save your life, or it can net you a kill that you wouldn't have been able to get with only 2 jumps. And you know, I by no means have tried out every single perk. Let me know what works for you. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Any extra tips you got for Garnet players out there. Currently playing Rocket League, Tekken and MultiVersus on my stream. So come down and say hi if you want. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.